Greetings, people of the world. Matthew back with you here at Novora Autism, and today I wanted to talk about some of the things that have been happening over the course of the past week in the video gaming world. Of course, on Tuesday, we got the opportunity to finally get the introduction of the launch of the Monster Hunter World crossover into Final Fantasy XIV, and it certainly has been a very enjoyable experience thus far. But that's not the only thing that's happened this week. The following day, we also got the information for the new Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And of course, anyone familiar with Super Smash Bros. In its most recent iterations will be familiar of its various crossovers, not just with other Nintendo games, but with other games that are not part of the Nintendo library. And it's certainly been quite the interesting thing to see various characters from various other popular video game series getting featured, including, most notably, at the end of Super Smash Bros. For Wii U's cycle, Cloud Strife of Final Fantasy VII being one of the final characters being able to be unlocked. So, that got me to thinking, if they could put Cloud into a Super Smash Bros. Game, would there be any characters from Final Fantasy XIV that could be featured in a crossover with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate? And I think that, having played this game for over 4 years now, that there are definitely some characters who I believe would make wonderful additions to the Super Smash Bros. Roster of fighters. So, who do I think would be the most obvious choice to make this list in the future? Well, it's probably not who you're thinking, but I will get to that person in a moment. No, the most obvious person who I think is going to get a spot on Ultimate if a Final Fantasy XIV character is chosen is Raubahn. Why? Well, anyone familiar with his backstory, which has been a very deep one over the course of the Final Fantasy XIV canon, knows of Raubahn's rise from being a warrior in the Old Colosseum to being so good at it that he ultimately won himself a seat on the Syndicate and became the Sultana's leading commander out on the field. And then, of course, we got to see him in action doing this a few times, most notably at Carteneau, and also getting the chance to see him in hand-to-hand against the Warrior of Light in the Grand Melee in Heaven's Ward. And since Stormblood, of course, he's been leading the charge on behalf of the Eorzean Alliance in order to liberate Ala Mhigo. So there's no question that Raubahn, I think, is the most obvious choice to be featured in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate if a Final Fantasy XIV character is chosen. Now, as for who you guys thought was the most obvious choice, yeah, I would agree. I would say that Lise definitely has earned the spot to be representing Final Fantasy XIV in Ultimate. I mean, let's face it, given how much of an impact her storyline has had, especially in Stormblood, I think there's no question that she definitely deserves to belong there, given that she has been basically with us since the beginning of Stormblood. Of course, she was with us when she was hiding her character as Ida in Heaven's Ward and A Realm Reborn. But yeah, for those of you who are really hoping that I would say Lise first, well yeah, there's no question that, especially with the way she looks now, she would definitely be worthy of getting a spot in Ultimate. And I think we all would agree that it would be incredibly cool that when her character was to be featured in a Super Smash Bros. Ultimate trailer, if she does get chosen, I could easily see her reenacting her cinematic cutscene that is best known with Stormblood with Mario. I mean, wouldn't you guys want to see her reenacting that scene with Mario of all people? I think that would definitely be a crazy way to introduce her into Smash Brothers for sure. Then I also believe that there's a very viable third option as well, especially considering how popular this character still is. And that would be Estinian. I mean, how else are you going to be able to get a good representation for Heaven's Ward if you didn't have Estinian in the roster of Smash Bros. Ultimate? I mean, the Azure Dragoon of Ishgard? Why not? I think he definitely would be a very viable character to feature in Smash, given his abilities and given that he has certainly become quite a very loved character over the Final Fantasy XIV canon, especially through Heaven's Ward and the fact that even in Stormblood he still holds a significant presence, even if he doesn't even show up in the eyes of the main characters and he does his work behind the scenes. It's still really cool to see him showing off his impressive prowess and skills as a Dragoon in Final Fantasy XIV, and I think that it would definitely cross over very well into Smash Ultimate should he be the one to be chosen to represent the game. So I have those three people as my preferred choices for possibly having a Final Fantasy XIV character featured in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. But for you sentimentalists, I'm pretty sure that you're thinking that there should be a fourth character considered. And I would agree. I think also that some love should be given to Hoshifon. It would be very hard to argue against having him in Smash Ultimate either, given how much of a loved character he was, and even though we never really got to see much of him in combat, I know that his character is still very much loved in the Final Fantasy XIV community, and given how much he was admired and respected, his sacrifice will never be forgotten for those who play this game. And for those who really wanted to see him really get the opportunity to engage in full-fledged combat, I'm sure that there are a lot of people who would love to see Hoshifon possibly get a spot on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate 2 as a way to pay tribute to the character because he was so well loved. So those are my choices for characters from Final Fantasy XIV who I believe would be wonderful additions to the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate roster if they are able to be included in the game. But I want to hear if you guys have any other thoughts on the characters that I've chosen, or if there are any others who you believe would also be worthy of being featured in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate in future DLC. Post in the comments and let me know what you think, and don't forget to continue to watch the channel and support it, and make sure to leave a like and subscribe as well. We'd definitely appreciate it. So thank you very much everyone for watching, and until next time everyone, this is Matthew with Navora Autism, saying take care, and I'll see you soon.